Hey, man, I just tell the truth.
Come on, man.
And they don't like that. Why?
It's either you feign diplomacy to conduct a strike on Iran, which is awful fucking diplomacy, because you lied to them and they trusted you and you let them get attacked while being in the middle of discussions, or you were in the middle of diplomacy, you actually wanted to make a deal happen, but the Israelis fucking disobeyed you. Because Trump told the press that he asked Netanyahu to give him more time to do the negotiations. And then days later, Netanyahu bombed them anyway. So which one is it, Donnie? Which one is it? Did you actually pursue diplomacy and try to stop a nuclear fucking world war from potentially happening? And Netanyahu disobeyed you, which makes you look like a bitch? Because they are supposed to be beholden to us because we give them all their fucking aid and we're the reason they even exist? Is it that one where Netanyahu bitched you out? Or is it you feigned diplomacy, you lied to the Iranians, you went through 5 rounds of talks, you spent months trying to reignite the Obama deal, only to allow the Israelis to attack them, which will inevitably lead to a war, which is completely antithetical to what you fucking campaigned on. Because me and you both know, Donnie, that if the Israelis get into war with Iran, we will have to be brought in to fucking save the day. And I explained this earlier. So which one is it? You're either a lying diplomat or you're a U.S. president that can't control a rogue prime minister from Israel. Which one is it? It can't be both. Now, you guys are probably wondering, why is Trump being so ambiguous about this? Why is he behaving this way? Why is he not just saying what it is? I'll tell you guys why. Trump is in a very sensitive situation. As much as I'm being critical of him right now, I understand where he's coming from. And I'm going to explain to you guys so you know where the fuck his mind's at. And for you guys to understand this, you need to go back roughly 1 year. 1 year ago, Donald Trump's life was in peril. People tend to forget this, but I remember. Because when I criticize Trump, I always take this into account. I put myself in his shoes. 1 year ago, this guy was looking at federal prison for the rest of his fucking life. Jack Smith, Alvin Bragg, and Fannie Willis were on a crusade to destroy him. He was indicted out of the state of New York on state charges. He was indicted out of Georgia out of the state on state charges on RICO, and he was indicted twice federally. One in Washington, D.C., one in Florida. If he did not become president of the United States, he would be in prison right fucking now, and you guys could take that to the bank. Because unlike these other political commentators, I understand the severity of what he was charged with. And for those of you that are curious, the classified document case would have cooked him. That's what it was. Classified document case, they had him dead to rights. It is what it is. But there's a reason why I'm telling you this. So you guys can understand the mind of Donald Trump right now. As he was going through this legal peril, he needed money to campaign. He had been sued civilly hundreds of times. He had 4 criminal cases going on. That's expensive for lawyers, chat. Though Donald Trump's a billionaire, those legal bills start to add up very quickly. He needed money to run his campaign. Enter in Myron and the Zionist lobby. They gave him a lot of money to run. And they also backed him, but in exchange, he needed to do what the Zionist lobby asks. We got you, Donnie. We'll make sure you're president. We'll keep you from fucking prison. But you need to do this for Israel. Look, I think any guy that's his age, with a family, former president, doesn't want to go to prison for the rest of his life. Trump is old, guys. He's in his 80s. The art of the deal, right? He took the offer. Now, Here's the problem, though. And this is where we get into the disconnect. When Trump ran for president, one of the main things he campaigned on is no new wars. In 2015, when he ran, no new wars. He made fun of Marco Rubio for taking Zionist money. But now Marco Rubio is the Secretary of State and he's taking Zionist money. The Donald Trump of 2015 is a different one than now. He criticized the Bush administration for the endless wars in the Middle East. And when he came back to campaign in 2024, he said, I'm not going to start no new wars. No new wars were started under me. I'm a peacemaker. I'm going to end the Russia-Ukraine war in 24 hours. It's an easy deal. I'm going to fix the Middle East. I'm not interested in regime change. I remember him famously saying that on PBD podcast. I'm not interested in Iranian regime change. So a lot of people in his base, people like me, people like Candace Owens, right? People like Dave Smith, people like Nick Fuentes, etc., people that like Donald Trump in general. I know Nick didn't vote. But we're like, all right, cool, no war? Awesome. I could get with that because the Biden administration failed us when it came to foreign policy 1,000%. They hadn't talked to Putin for years. Ukraine was getting their asses kicked and we kept giving them money. It was an L all around. At least Trump would be open up dialogue with Putin again, which he did. He did. So, a lot of Trump's voter base voted for him because he said no more wars. See where I'm coming here now, Chad? So, he's in a rock at a hard place. Half of his base is saying, no new wars. We don't want more war. We don't want to go to war for fucking Israel because they saw what happened in 2003. And then he has a Zionist constituency that's saying, we gave you a lot of money. We're the reason that you're in power. You need to do what we ask for Israel. So what Donald Trump is trying to navigate right now is he's trying to find a way where he can intervene and get the job done, but at the same time, not start a new war and ostracize half his base. And this is precisely why he's exercising this ambiguous, strange rhetoric where he can't answer questions fairly directly, which is contrary to how he normally does things. As you guys know, Trump isn't the best speaker. He's very blunt. He normally answers questions pretty directly. But for some odd reason, he's employing this fucking disingenuous, duplicitous language when asked about Iran. And the reason why is because he's probably pacing back and forth with his staff trying to figure out a way to finish the job in Iran without starting a real conflict. Because if we do get involved, which we are going to get involved because Israel can't do it themselves. If we do get involved and we bomb Fordo, and we're going to have to do it multiple times, by the way. It's not going to just be one bomb. It's going to have to be multiple runs of this shit. If we intervene, I predict that will be the beginning of the conflict. Iran is going to rain missiles down on military bases all across the Gulf. They're going to start working to get the Strait of Hormuz shut down. And economic peril is going to hit the entire world. And that is what Donald Trump is fighting with right now as we speak. He knows that if we intervene and we B-2 bomb that fucking nuclear site, that is Iran's last deterrent. So if he goes ahead and bombs that, they're going to say, all right, gloves are off. Because like I told you guys before, about 40 minutes ago, this is do or die situation for Iran. Do or fucking die. They watch all their other Arab countries and Muslim countries get destabilized around them. They know how this ends. They don't want a regime change and they're going to go down fighting. They have more than enough evidence to show that the U.S. and Israel has no problem with doing regime change. And Donald Trump knowing this, because he's smart enough to know, Iran can't stand up to us militarily. They cannot. But they can stand up to us economically. And they can make it really hurt for the rest of us in America. We're talking about $7 fucking gallon of gas, chat, overnight. We're talking about those prices going up to $11. We're talking about food prices soaring. We're talking about the price of goods doubling, tripling, quadrupling overnight. You understand? This isn't just a situation where it's like, oh, yeah, you know, like, yeah, just take out their nuclear facility, bro. Not a big deal. Yeah, who cares? No. Iran's in a position where it's do or die, and if they're going to fucking go down, they're going to make sure all of us suffer alongside them. They're going to make it very painful for the rest of us. And Trump knows that. So he's fighting between half of his base that's saying no new wars. What the fuck? You campaign on no new wars. And then he has the other side where these Zionists put him in power. So he could avoid federal prison for the rest of his life. So he's at a rock and a hard place, and that's why he's answering these questions so deceptively. And as we speak, he's probably pacing back and forth right now at the fucking White House, figuring out how the fuck am I going to navigate this shit? Because if I go in, it's almost certainly going to cause a new war. And the American public that voted for me are going to feel it at the pump. They're going to feel it at the gas station. Guys, don't forget, in 2024, what did Trump campaign on besides no new wars? He said he would bring the grocery bills down. He said he would bring the inflation down. He said that the cost of living is too goddamn high, and Biden and Kamala Harris fucked everything up. So not only is he going to start a war, he's going to start a fucking price war too. You niggas aren't going to be able to get Kellogg's cereal no more. You're going to have to start, your Uber prices are going to triple. You won't be able to eat bread. Pizza's going to go up out the fucking woozah. You're going to be thinking twice when you got to drive your car. All that is going to fucking boil over and Americans are going to get pissed. Also, keep in mind that Israel is wildly unpopular right now. This isn't fucking 2003 where we stand here with our fucking greatest ally. None of that bullshit flies no more. Americans are starting to slowly wake up, and nobody wants a new war for fucking Israel. To include the MAGA base, which has historically always been Israeli cocksuckers. So he's got to find a way to sell this fucking conflict. Charlie Kirk is already trying to do it. Charlie Kirk, Steven Crowder, all these guys are trying to find a way to sell this fucking conflict like, well, you know, Trump always said that Iran can't have a nuclear bomb. He always said that. So he's being consistent. That's deceptive and disingenuous. Because him campaigning on no new wars outweighs Iran having a fucking nuclear bomb, bro.
Welcome, punch!
But they got to find a way to sell it. And this is why I really encourage you guys. Really encourage you guys. This week, this conflict is going to prove to you guys who's the real niggas and who's not. You guys are going to see who the MAGA retards are that get paid by the Trump administration that aren't going to criticize what the fuck is going on here. You're going to see the legacy big conservative guys, the Daily Wires, the Turning Point USAs, the Bonginos, the Crowders, etc. You're going to see all of them fucking support Trump with this stupidity. The real niggas are going to call it like it is. Me, Nick, a few others. So, look, man. And again, a lot of this stuff that I told you guys is not in the mainstream media for a reason. But that's what's going on right now in the White House. This is what Trump is battling with right now. He also knows that if he goes to war, it's going to destroy his legacy. Many of you guys know Trump has an ego. He loves to be able to sit down in an interview and talk about all of his accomplishments. We beat Kamala by a landslide. You know? We no new wars under me. The tariffs are working great. Big, beautiful bill. Yeah. Right? A war with Iran would hurt his legacy. He would be known as the fucking neocon warhawk like George Bush. George Bush to this day has a terrible reputation, despite all the shit he did that was good. Nobody remembers No Child Left Behind. Nobody remembers that shit. All they remember is Operation Iraqi Freedom. That's what they remember. They don't remember all the reforms he made for education. They don't remember all the humanitarian shit he did. Nobody remembers any of that shit about Bush. They just remember that Dick Cheney ran us into war and we got hit with some fucking planes. And if Trump goes down this road, he's also going to be remembered as the fucking dumbass warhawk for Israel. And I would argue now there's even less support for Israel, so it'll be even worse for him. At least back in 2003, there was no internet. There was no social media where we could sit here and talk shit about them boys. It was Fox News or CNN, baby. It was both Zionist controlled. There wasn't really opposition media back then. But now there is. So anyway,